Hi, in this guide, I would like to walk you through the basic elements of the Space Cartels. We will start with registration, and then make some moves in the first turn of the game, so you understand its basic mechanics. Space Cartels is a game for players of any wallet size, because you can start playing from just $1 without any additional investments. If you find yourself among the top 50% of players for the season, you will earn from 6% to even 300% of the invested amount, depending on your ranking. So, let's move to the Wallet tab. Here we can buy our first DMT. As you can see, the value of DMT is 1:1 to USDC. This means that if you buy 1 DMT, you will have to pay 1 USDC. At the same time, you can sell your DMT at any moment without any commission, and you will get USDC back to your cryptocurrency wallet. DMT can be bought both on the phone and in our desktop application. As you see, I have already bought some DMT, so we can register for our first season. For this purpose, we go to the Portal tab. Here we can find the seasons we can currently sign up for. As you see, 60 players are already signed up for the current season, and it starts at 7 p.m. A turn lasts 8 hours, which means that when the season starts, you will have 8 hours to make your moves. In Space Cartels, it doesn't matter whether you make your moves just after the turn starts or moments before it's about to end. So let's go to this season to see its details. As you see, the season will last 21 turns, which means that after this time the game will end and rewards will be distributed. Here, you can view a table with rewards for the positions achieved. You can register with any amount from 1 DMT. If you sign up with more than 1 DMT and fewer than 20 players are willing to play at that level, you will be refunded the excess DMT without any fees at the start of the season. For example, I would like to register with 5 DMT. If it turns out that only 20 players have gathered for the amount of 3 DMT or less, then at the beginning of the season I will get back 2 DMT that are not participating in the game. Then we press the register button, and the registration for the season occurs. As we see here, we have signed up with 5 DMT. Before the season starts, we can press the Add More DMT button and add some DMT to the season to play for more. You can now exit the game and come back when the season begins. An email notification will alert you to the start of the season. Great! The season has already started. So, we can join it by pressing the Go to this reality button. This way, we have arrived at the base of our cartel. Your goal in Space Cartels is to invest initial resources in such a way that the net value of your cartel after 21 turns is as high as possible. At the top, we see that we have received 100 Amero to start with, which is the basic currency in Space Cartels. By clicking on the inventory button, we can see what other resources we have. As you see, we also have 20 steel, 20 copper, 20 uranium, as well as 20 iron ore, 20 copper ore, and 20 uranium ore. By clicking on the shopping cart icon under each of the resources, we can go to trade. Trading resources is one of the most important elements of Space Cartels. At any time, we can buy or sell any of the resources we have, any number of times per turn. Moreover, the price of each resource changes from turn to turn and depends on the law of supply and demand on a given season. This means that if in the current turn, more players buy steel than sell, then the price will increase in the next turn. However, remember that the price can never increase or decrease by more than 7% per turn. In the following turns, a price change chart will be displayed here, on which you will be able to observe how the price of a given resource has changed from turn to turn. If the purchase and sale price of a resource is the same, as in this case, we can buy and sell it any number of times per turn without loss. For example, let's now sell the 20 iron ore we have. Therefore, we press the Sell tab, select Max to sell everything, and then press the Sell button. As you see, we received 60 Amero for the sold iron ore. If we change our minds, we can buy back the iron ore at any time, paying exactly the same amount. Each turn, it's worth starting by visiting City. This is because, in this place, we can collect passive income. Let's start with the button at the very top, namely Collect Tribute. In this place, 3 new sets of resources will appear each turn. We can always choose only one of them. We receive these resources entirely for free. By clicking on the Amero icon in the middle, we get information on the value of all resources from a given set, if we wanted to sell them on the market. In this example, we choose the set whose value is the highest and press Collect to gather these resources. The next place worth visiting is the casino. Here, you will have 100 Amero to collect each turn. At a later stage of the game, you will be able to increase the passive income from the casino. For now, we click the Claim Profit button and see at the top that we have received 100 Amero. Okay. We already have the starting resources and the resources we collected in the city. It's time to build something. The question is, where to start? In the game, we will find a place that can give us some hints about what is worth building at the beginning of the game. This is the Reports tab, which is worth visiting before we start the expansion. At the very top, we can see to which district we are assigned. Players can be assigned to one of 3 districts: blue, red, or orange. Then we can see the time until the end of the game and the current turn number. The next section is end game conditions. 2 conditions are listed here. If any player from a given season meets just one of these conditions, the net value of his cartel automatically increases by 100%. Additionally, when a player meets one of these conditions, the game will last only one more turn, after which the season will end. This means that the game lasts a maximum of 21 turns, but it can be shorter if a player triggers the end game condition. You will learn what these conditions are as you play the game. For now, let's go further down, where you'll see the current event and ranking. In this place, you can see what the current value of your cartel is. At the beginning of the game, it is 2000 Amero, but as you develop your empire, this value will gradually increase from turn to turn. In the second turn, your position relative to other players will appear here. The higher you are in the ranking at the end of the game, the greater your profit from the season DMT invested. Let's now move to the All Events tab. Here, you can check which events are currently in effect in each of the districts. We are currently in the blue district, so only the events from the blue district apply to us. However, we can see what events the other districts have by changing the tabs at the top. But we are interested in an event from the blue district. As we see, the current event tells us that the market price for copper ore has dropped by 50%. This informs us that it might not be worth investing in a copper ore mine this turn, and it might be better to focus on something else. Scrolling down, we can always see what events are waiting for us 3 turns ahead. For example, in this case, we see that building a uranium ore mine might be a good idea because in 3 turns, the cost of extraction will decrease by 45%. So, let's go to the Base tab, and then select Mine. We would like to build a uranium ore mine. Thus, we select the Uranium tab, and then press the Develop Mine button. This way, we move to a table where we can see the cost of expanding each subsequent level of the mine. At this moment, we are expanding the first level, so we pay 10 steel and 10 copper for it, but the subsequent levels are more expensive. Okay, we click on the Develop button and as we see, our mine is built. At the very top, we can see what the production cost of uranium ore is. In this case, you need to pay 17 uranium to produce 100 pieces of uranium ore. Below, we see that the maximum production is 100 pieces of uranium ore per turn. By clicking on the Upgrade button, we can upgrade the mine to reduce production costs and also increase the maximum production per turn. So let's produce the maximum amount of uranium ore available by pressing the Max button, and then mine. As we see at the top, we received uranium ore and paid 17 uranium for it. Other production buildings in our base operate very similarly, so we won't go through them all now. However, let's look into the Deals tab, and then Contracts. Contracts are very important, especially at the beginning of the game. As we see, on the left side are the resources we need to deliver, and on the right is the amount of Amero we will receive for completing a given contract. By clicking on the Amero icon between the requirements, it will automatically calculate how much the required resources collectively cost on the market. Contracts are very profitable, because very often the cost of purchasing the resources on the market is lower than the reward we receive for completing a given contract. Contracts are divided into 3 tiers: bronze, silver, and gold. The higher the tier, the harder it is to acquire resources to complete the contracts, but they are also more profitable. At the beginning of the game, we will be interested in bronze tier contracts because we can simply buy the resources needed for them on the market. Nevertheless, in order to sign such a contract, we must meet one condition. Above the contracts, we see your territories. This information is here because how many contracts we can sign in each turn depends on the territories we own. It's very simple. If we own 1 bronze tier territory, we can sign 1 bronze tier contract, and so on. Okay, let's then acquire our first territory. So, let's go to the Fight tab, and then select Radar. Here, we can see the sector in which our base is located. In the game, there are exactly as many sectors as there are players in a given season. Each sector contains 2 bronze, 1 silver and 1 gold tier territory. By clicking on a territory, we can see information about it. Net worth boost means that if we take this territory, the net value of our cartel in the ranking will increase by 1%. Deposit means that if you control this territory, it will passively earn 43 uranium ore per turn. Meanwhile, required power tells us how much power your commander needs at a minimum in order to take a given territory. In the case of bronze tier territories, it is always 50 power points. At the beginning of the game, territories are empty, and you can take them without a fight, but in later turns, you will often have to fight with other players in order to take a given territory. Let's hire our first commander. For this purpose, we press the Hire Commander button. As you see, the commander costs 100 Amero. This is a one-time cost. So we press the Hire Commander button, and we have hired our commander. As we see, the commander has appeared in the upper section. Let's arm him then. For this purpose, we select the commander we just hired, and then press the Equip button. At this point, we can see what the current power of our commander is. In this case, the power is 33 points, but as you remember, we need to gain at least 50 points to take over a bronze territory. Therefore, we need to add at least 17 units, so our commander has 50 power points. In the lower left corner, we see that our commander only has 10 slots for units. This is because the commander we just hired always has 1 reputation point, and each point gives 10 additional slots for units. We want to assign at least 16 units to the commander, so first, we need to increase his reputation. For this purpose, we click the training button. As you can see, gaining 1 reputation point costs 25 iron ore and 25 copper ore. In this case, we need to buy 5 iron ore and 2 copper ore. Therefore, we click on the resource image, and then on the basket, to go to the market and buy the missing resources. After making the purchase, we press the Gain Reputation button and gain 1 reputation point. Now our commander has 20 slots for units. Units in Space Cartels can be acquired in 2 ways. We can produce them in shipyard, or we can buy them directly on the game's market. We choose the latter option. Therefore, we click on the unit icon and go to trade it. We would like to buy 20 units, but as you can see, we lack Amero. This is not a problem, as we can sell other resources we have at any time, for example uranium ore that we produced earlier. Once we have the necessary Amero, we purchase Blitz Striker units, which add to the attack statistic. Then we return to the previous panel, where we can assign the just purchased units to the commander. Now we go back to the radar and click on the territory we want to occupy. As we see, our commander now has 56 power points, so we can easily take over this territory. First, we press the Go to Territory button to move there, and then occupy territory. The territory will be occupied in the next turn. This means that in the next turn, you will be able to sign your first contract. If you have followed these steps, you can review in your inventory what resources you still have and consider whether you can afford to expand any buildings. If not, you can always sell your excess resources for Amero, and then deposit them in the bank for a 10% interest rate per turn. You can find the bank in the city. During a turn, you can deposit and withdraw Amero any number of times here. That's all for now. This guide has walked you through the basic elements of the game, but there is still much ahead of you. In Space Cartels, each subsequent turn gets more interesting. If you have doubts about how a certain building works, you can always find the white paper by clicking on the 3 pink dots in the upper right corner. There you will also find a link to our Discord, where you can ask questions. Good luck!